Hey there folks, Kozzi here for Pick 1 Pack 1, throwing away the cash that you should be saving up to play the expansion when it comes out this week. No, I'm joking around. I'm playing a draft with a pretty underpowered Feln deck. It didn't quite fit into an archetype overly well at all. I don't feel like it was on the infiltrate level. We didn't really get any love for helping us get the creatures in, and it doesn't seem super great for a control deck. Most of the removal we got was tempo based. It probably is slightly more on the front foot of midrange, but I've decided to call it midrange and see how we go. But yeah, not in love with this one. It was a confusing old draft. Fire seemed non-existent in pack 1 and then came through very late and very aggressively. Ordinarily I keep 3 power 4 spell hands, but here I can't cast any of my spells, so I don't think I can afford to keep it. And this is a little power light, but tolerable, and unfortunately Hythar's going to get in a couple of times. Do I want to use my Suffocate to stop the Warcry trigger? There is a reasonable chance he's going to be able to play things that are bigger and better, but if I let it get in too many times, it's definitely going to be bigger and better than anything I can kill with my Suffocate, because their power is going to be getting greater. I think we just need to stop that tempo advantage. I don't like using one of my 2 pieces of removal on a Ronin, but that's the kind of card that can run away with the game. And even though we could block with an Eastwind Herald, I'd like to stop him from getting that extra power for free. But I'd be very much willing to accept that that could have been an incorrect decision right there. That being said, the fact that he hasn't cast much at all since is making me feel a little bit happier with my choice, as it gives us the opportunity to start to get in and create some pressure. That's pretty fantastic for us. So I have a choice. I can either cast a Stonescar Magus and sit around, knowing that if he equips it up, I've probably got the Violent Gust to deal with it. He'll hit me once very hard, which is always a worrying thing against a Rakano deck. Otherwise, I could just attack in and see if he wants the trade. It's going to be a neat combo, the fact that I can Scar Magus sometime soon. If I attack in and he takes the trade, I've gotten rid of one of his most powerful creatures for one that I'm ambivalent about. Yeah, I'm happy to offer that up. He doesn't seem to have much going other than this creature, and I can't imagine too many things that gives it higher health than 5. The only way that I really get in trouble is if he has something like the +4/+4 Warcry 3 equipment. Could be argued I made a mistake there, because it's not often in Rakano colours that you get something you can use a Violent Gust on. I think if I would have heard that argument before the blocks, I might have accepted it. But I know that there are a fair few owls, or Hurus, whatever they like to call them. And I do like the fact that I can still use my power more efficiently now. I didn't really just want to leave 2 power open, especially whilst I've got such a power advantage at the moment against what's ordinarily an aggressive deck. I think here I'm going to listen to my previous advice of playing my Violent Gust. I don't have the best clock in the world happening right now, but if he plays something with low health, I can get him in trouble again with my Devour. I am noticing that this the game's stuttering for me looking at it, so I'm not quite sure what it's going to be like for you guys as the recording. And if this is lagging like crazy, then I do apologise. I know I've talked about the nature of a grandpa computer before, and I think I want to kill this straight away. Although I could just let in if he blocks. No, I want to try and make sure I get that extra sigil so I can get my Staff of Stories on mine. The Chakram is a little bit of a problem because whatever he gets is going to be equipped with it. But we're going to be getting some card advantage happening soon. I need to work out whether I'm going to respect him having a haste creature. I think the likelihood of it is exceptionally low. So I'm happy to take my risk here. Perhaps that's just me being too aggressive and getting him for the 1 damage, and it might ultimately matter here. But I think the likelihood of there being a haste creature is exceptionally low. Okay, so... the Chakram on top of the Overwhelm creature is going to give it, what, 9 power? I could stop it. Well, no, if I block with both the Direfang Spider and my Eastwind Herald, it's not enough. So I think I just need to accept the fact that unfortunately my Staff of Stories is dead, but we can force him to trade out. He got those colours not from his sigil, so I don't think I need to fear board wipes. And this will basically mean that he'll be able to get in and take my Staff of Stories, but I'll trade off his Brawler for it. I am getting a little bit nervous though about him being able to draw back into this game. Just our card quality hasn't been amazing. That was a shame, but I'm not going to block. He gets in. I think I do want to suffocate the fighter. And I think I want to leave back my Stone Scar Magus. I can't afford to do everything, which is a little bit of a shame, but it's still a good turn. So we know that he has the Chakra as well as 2 unknown cards. One of them was from a few turns ago, likely, because he would have cast. If he has a combat trick, things could get huge. I think I'm okay with that. Argument could be made that I want to play my Magus here. Save this for something else that's a problem, but I think I'm okay. That Chakram is an amazing card. It's presented a huge clock for him that he never would have otherwise had. Tapped out, so I'm happy to attack in. Sorry, powered down, I should be saying. I'm trying to stop using the magic terms. Blind Storyteller, I can play... Well, do I want to do this first and just see what I have open? I think I should. I think the Stormcaller is better for me overall than the Scavenging Vulture. It allows me to crack open things like that Aegis if I'm in trouble. Granted, I can't play it this turn, which is a shame, but it also gives me the option of doing things like pinging my Blind Storyteller to make the Soul Collector bigger if need be. The versatility there is useful. The one good bit of news for me is that my opponent hasn't had a lot of power, so they haven't been able to cast two cards in a turn. Let's take a look at what else we can get first. So I have the dragon in my deck that costs 7, which could be a reason why I want to keep the sigil. Otherwise I can just keep flooding the board. I think I'd rather try and get my top end. Although when he's so low, perhaps I just go wide. No, I'm going to be casting the Stormcaller this turn. Do I want to respect the fact that they have an Inspired Hour? I have seen a few, which does have me nervous. So perhaps if I attack with the Magus, if they cast it, +3, gives it -2/-2, so I think then when it resolves it goes back to being a 0. This also gives me a chance to see where there's a stop. Oh, I should have done the Stormcaller first to pop the Aegis. That was a mistake. He does have a trick that I was trying to play around. Okay. That was poor of me. I made a significant mistake there, just forgetting the way that the Aegis works. I don't know why I assumed it could get under. I really don't know why. As always, we'll take a look and see what we can find that's better. And that is a fair amount better. That allows us to fly in with our Soul Collector. If I wanted to, I could keep back the Eastwind Herald to have a blocker. If I attack with both, it gets them down to 3, puts them on a 2-turn clock. In fact, it makes them dead next turn, so that's worth risking the chance of them being able to attack me. And I cannot imagine a way that they'll be able to do 19 damage in one turn. They'd need something like the spell that gives double damage and gaining life or something insane like that. And this is the advantage now of having left the Stormcaller, getting them down as fast as I did. It basically puts them on a you do something. Or you're dead. So I'm very glad that I did attack with that Herald. One less turn to have something to do. It's not a bad game. Made a smart decision inadvertently with suffocating their Oni Ronin. I wasn't to know that they had so few low drops, but I didn't want to let those war cries come in, and it really came back to help me. Made a dumb decision with forgetting about how Aegis works. Mea culpa, guys. That was just a bonehead mistake. The rest of it, I feel as though we played out pretty well to our strengths. We were able to put them on the back foot and force them to trade off resources that they didn't really want to, and despite the fact that they had the Shark Room, which did prove problematic for us, I think we would have won quite comfortably if they didn't have it, rather than, you know, with a little bit of nerve. We have a good 1-drop, we have a 3 to go into, we are on the draw, but it's just too risky. I'd rather have a better assortment of sigils. That is a better assortment. Don't love it, but it'll do. I imagine we're going to be playing the Feln Stranger into the Thorn Beast. That allows my Vulture to be a 2-1. The fact that they're on Primal means that they could have Lightning Storm, which is going to kill both of these guys equally. So I think that maintains still the same plan. And the Feln very nicely sorts out my power for me. Okay, so you're playing Skycrag. Would I rather cast the Thorn Beast or the Fanatic here? I think I'd rather play the Fanatic because that allows me to play the Magus into a really nice turn with the Thorn Beast, and I'm not really passing up much. Okay, so you've got Lightning Strike by the looks of it. Does that change any of my attack decisions? Not massively. If you don't cast something next turn, or if you leave 2 power open, then I'm happy to sit back and wait. Okay, Wisdom of the Elders makes sense too. I'll get my own inbuilt wisdom with a bit more of an advantage if you don't do anything soon though, mate. Okay, so that took some premium removal, which I'm quite happy to see. Now I need to work out how greedy I want to get on this plan with the Magus and the Thorn Beast. I think... So I need to work out whether I want the Soul Collector to see much of what's about to happen. It's definitely got the highest upside. My opponent hasn't done much. And if I draw the extra power next turn, I could still Thorn Beast the 2/2 plus the Vulture anyway. Yeah, I think I like going for the upside. I'll always have this combo available to me in 2 turns if I decide I want it, whereas the earlier I can get this down, the better it will be. And so particularly because I'm in a relatively dominant position right now, I'd rather go for the higher upside. I need to ask myself whether I'm willing to risk her to a Lightning Strike, and I think the answer is I'm not. Although it didn't... No, they do have a stop there by the looks of it. And we'll just keep developing out. Ideally, they'll play a creature that I can kill with my Magus, and that way we can get her out of Lightning Storm range. Although my opponent looks horrifically flooded right now. So let's think this through. If I cast the Thorn Beast, eat it, kills it, she becomes a 2. His ability will go, which will make her a 0. I'll get nothing out of it. If I cast the Thorn Beast and eat this, she becomes a 2. I can attack, and if they block, she becomes a 3. It is a bit greedy though. I think we can afford to buy some time. Just see what happens. Yeah. What have they got? Levitate. They could have destroy target monocolored creature. They could have a torch. Where did they get the red from? So they splashed it. So they could have a torch. They had a levitate. So this gives me something more interesting to do. I could kill my Magus, turning that into a 1/1. It's forced to attack in, which will allow me to eventually get out of the Soul Collector's range. I could levitate here and block, but I still get the same problem where I don't get to get my Soul Collector outside of Magus range. Wonder what they're thinking through. Oh, I can Ravenous Thornbeast, my Magus. I can turn that into a 1/1. I can ping it. This is now a 3/3. Happiness. I'll keep the levitate just in case if they give something flying or I need to get on a bit of evasion. Yeah, they're looking at what I've tried to plan out. If they have removal, this will be the time that they probably use it to try and break up this plan. What are you going to do, mate? Okay, that's not bad for me at all. It's really not. Do I want to give anything levitate? Probably not. Do I want to attack in? If I do, she gets an extra +1, but then they get to kill my Stormcaller. I don't think I'm interested in that trade. Am I interested in that trade? I've already gotten some value out of it. Yeah, I could take that trade. Clears up their board. I've got 2 fat creatures. Pingers aren't quite as exciting, and I suspect that they're not going to block. Could be wrong. And that's really good to know for next time. Do I want to offer up the Vulture? Yeah, I don't care too much about the Vulture. We just want to get a nice big attack next turn. Especially because my opponent hasn't done much in the early turns with their power, so either they're epically flooded, or they've got some high end that I need to respect. Now I wonder if the Devour was the only piece of interaction that they had. It would have made sense to have Devoured earlier when it was still a 3-3, if they had Dark Return in their deck or any other way of getting it out of the void. Deep, deep, deep in the tank right now. They decide to do nothing. I don't mind them doing nothing. I'm going to ping them first of all. And so now, because I have the stuff for stories, I could afford to stay back and just get some card advantage here. And if I do, that means I probably only want to attack with the Feln Stranger and the Scavenging Vulture. Or I could get on the aggressive. It is a 2-turn clock if they do nothing. I think I can afford to wait on this. I'm under no pressure, and I think I might as well try for winning the game first. And if they block, so they have no creatures left, then I can just cast my Staff for Stories with no fear whatsoever. So this gives me the option of both lines rather than precluding one, and I don't feel like I'm risking a lot for it. I'm beginning to wonder if my opponent's disconnected though. No, they definitely purposely chose to... I'm not sure what they could have going on for that. I don't want to trade this for the Stonescar Magus. Actually, it won't even be able to attack him unless it gets a huge amount of equipment. We should be safe. And if they do attack them, they're facing down a huge counterattack. So it puts him in a very rough spot. These are the kind of things where if I was a better player, I'd think about them 30 seconds before this moment. I don't have a counterspell, so I guess we'll just accept the fact that that resolves. About the only... Perhaps I could have levitated to look for my own version of Devour. If we draw it next turn, we know that I've made a mistake. And if they don't play a flying blocker, they should be dead, because I can levitate my Thorn Beast, attack him with both Thorn Beast and... Okay, that's an effective turn. If that's the case, I want to keep this levitate to have an option of being able to attack in. I'm glad that I still have. It's beginning to get a little bit scary. And scary is exactly the time when I want to flood. That was a huge turnaround for them. Huge turnaround indeed. Out of these, I would rather keep the Stormcaller, I imagine. I think I need to levitate now to see if I can find a card that's useful. That's not terrible. It gives me a blocker. And I do want to play one of these sigils in case I get my dragon. If they have another piece of removal, I'm in trouble. I think we just keep pinging them. And in case I draw a Wisdom of the Elders, of which I do have a few. Actually, which one represents more of a problem? This is a better attacker. This is a better blocker. If I can get a quick draw on this, I can actually represent straight out lethal with it. Right now they're winning because of their card advantage. Okay, so this is why it was a good idea to cast this like we did. So I can either ping through, or I can ping out the flyer. I think I want to see what extra cards I get first. That definitely hurts. If that's the case, I want to protect my staff as much as I can. Us flooding out is beginning to define this, unfortunately. And yeah, this will be not far off the end of the game. That negate definitely came in handy. They'll probably kill the 6/4. Fortunately, I've got quite a bit of life. If they leave it back, it means they're probably going to try and kill my Stormcaller. So they're doing what, 7, 10 damage on a 2-turn clock? Okay, they got the spell that does 4 damage to an attacking creature. I can't afford to have it die, so I'm not going to run straight into it. If they've bluffed it, hats off, sir. But I can't imagine you do that as a bluff. That's way too brave. And this allows me to slow down the clock. If they can't deal with this, we might be able to win this game. I do need to take some significant risks though. I'm probably going to have to block here and hope they don't have a combat trick. It's worth noting, if I would have attacked there into the lightning strike, I'd be dead right now. It's one of these moments where I'm glad that you don't, as a streamer, you don't get the kit that they do in the sport where they show your heart rate and your blood pressure and how many miles you've run. If it did, it would definitely show just how unfit I am right now, because I feel as though my heart is trying to break out of my chest. The fact that they're thinking this hard makes me think that I might have them. I just need to not do anything stupid. Okay, so this is the all-in attack. If they have the quick draw, then I'm dead no matter what, so I need to play as though they don't have it. If they have the rampage, that's +3/+1, they could be doing 6, 8, and then they can't kill me if I block there. In fact, if they have the rampage, it'll be 7. So if we do that and play as though they don't have the quick draw, the rampage then won't kill me. And all I'll have to do is attack back. Oh no, flying blocker. That is not good news. If we attack, they have to block. We can play our echo creatures. I should have blocked around the other way then. If you have a pair of lightning strikes, so be it. Madness kills us? Really? Man. I wonder if I made a mistake there by playing too much around Rampage. It's likely that they probably only played the fire for a torch. Like, I'm certain that they had the lightning strike in their hand. I'm certain of that. There's no way that they would have left themselves that open otherwise. They were trying to trick me into throwing away my creature. But perhaps I did stuff up by giving the alpha attack too much respect. Why would they have attacked with everyone if they knew they had a blocker? they attack with everyone, are they just hoping I do a stupid block? Because I could have then blocked 2 of theirs, traded off with 1 and killed their best attacker. They had to have had something. Had to have had something. I reckon if they didn't have Rampage, I'll be surprised. I'd be very surprised. I'd love to have a chat to them about what they actually had in their hand at that point. They could have been bluffing me like an absolute champ, but I doubt it. I really do. Let me know how you would have played that game. I'd actually, like, this isn't me just going, hey, talk on the chat. I'd like to have some, you know, interaction and go up the YouTube search engine optimization, whatever. This is actually one that I'm really curious in, how you guys would have played that line. Yeah, really, really curious to see how other people play that line. So please, do let me know. Perhaps I made a mistake being too tepid early as well. I think the attack to get him down to 8 was definitely right, in retrospect. We're on the draw, we have a bunch of 2s, and we also have a cantrip, so I think this is very much a keepable hand despite only having 2 power. And it looks like our opponent's playing a relatively slow deck. If it's time-based, it's probably either going to be Elysian or Combre, and neither of those are known for being hyper-aggressive. They do have flyers. Would I rather have a vulture or a herald? The vulture has the highest opportunity of increasing the clock for me. And I would like to draw a power next turn, please. It's not quite a power. But I'm happy to attack 2 for 2. I'm just worried I'm going to get left behind now. Even though they got their sigil out of it, I see that as a relatively fair trade. I'm going to increase my clock here so the powers come across. It was a 1-drop for a 3-drop, and I've been able to have my 2-drop still do its thing the whole time. Well, I know what's getting levitated. I'm going to attack first, so I can get my damage in. And then we'll levitate my mate, the prince. You can fly, frog! And I can draw absolutely nothing useful. Come on, deck. The minute I draw a power, I can do a lot of things. And they're going to run away with this if I'm not careful. That's not useful. Much as I'd like to play a 1-3. It's only 3 damage. Let's just keep developing the board whilst I can. It does hold back 2 of their attackers, which is fine. It offers a double block, although I know that they have a power in hand. And I think we just let it go through, and then next turn we can chump devour. Come on, deck. I'll hold back the 1-3 because it holds back most of their attackers. What have you got in those colours? Ambush creature? Likely. Come on, we just had an amazing game. Don't lose to Power Screw now. This is not the colours to have nothing happening against. Finally. If we take, we take a metric ton. If we attack, we take a metric ton of damage. Is that what we have to do? We need to work out a way of dealing with this awakened student, which is going to be a real challenge considering he's out of range of our suffocates. If we cast the Thorn Beast. We have a 5/5, which makes it difficult for him to mace into. We can't Wisdom of the Elders this turn because he'll just attack and still hold up. I think it's our only play. If they have Vanquish, we're beyond dead, but we're pretty close to dead men walking anyway. Yeah. Power Screw loses games. I think we're now on a plan of trying to attack in, getting value from our opponent, and chump blocking as much as we can. Oh, that is disgusting. That is us comprehensively dead. Yeah. Power Screw with a whole bunch of things we could have done if we got the third. So be it, folks. That's draft, unfortunately. I'm just going to quickly check it. It looked like the lag sorted itself out a bit, so I'm going to stop the recording, quickly check it. Hopefully get through for at least another 3, because this deck was better than the 1-2 that we're currently at represents. Frustrating. I might make myself a cup of tea and lose a little bit of steam as well. Although that second game was sweet. It was one where they had the negate, and they also had the flyer when they needed it. Whether they were holding it or not, I can't hold against them. But yeah, be really curious to hear your thoughts on that last block. Perhaps it was dumb, too conservative. Anyway, folks, I'll see you in a moment. I've been Kozzi drafting for Pick 1, Pack 1, and yeah, I'll see you in just one moment.